So, was I entertained? Overall, yeah, I'd say I was. It's not as good as the first film, but this is a very solid movie. I don't think anyone's going to flip out about it, though I don't know, I haven't checked. Honestly, I think if you saw the first Gladiator and you want more Gladiator, here you go. There's just more Gladiator. If you saw the first movie and thought there's no reason to have a sequel, then obviously you're not going to enjoy this, because this doesn't super justify its existence. It's just more of the same. And I really do mean more of the same. There's a lot of repeating. They do some things differently, fortunately, but it follows a lot of the exact same story beats as the first one. But overall, I had fun watching it. But you should probably know I wasn't super deep into the first one. Some people call the first one a 10 out of 10 perfect movie. I saw the first one when I was a kid, and I've always really enjoyed the exaggerated historical epics. I really enjoyed Braveheart and Joan of Arc and movies like that. So, this was another one of those movies I watched, Gladiator, and I enjoyed it as a kid. But I never thought it was incredible or groundbreaking. It's just, it's the big movie about gladiators that we have, and so people like that because, gladiators are a cool concept, and it's really easy to root for the main character in the original. It's a revenge story. A lot of people were really mad that this movie even exists because they're like, oh, why on earth would we need a Gladiator sequel? I was actually happy when I heard they were making a Gladiator sequel, and I'll tell you why. Because I thought, oh, there's so many cool stories you can tell with the gladiators. Let's do something different. Let's do a completely different story. I mean, technically the character in the first movie isn't a quintessential gladiator, because he's a former Roman general who then gets betrayed and then becomes a slave and then becomes a gladiator. I was thinking, now we can properly see, someone who isn't Roman at all get enslaved and become a gladiator and see how they would react to Rome. And at first I thought that was what we were getting here, because, look, I didn't watch press for this movie, so a lot of people probably already know who the main character is going in. I didn't. I went in thinking, oh, cool, this character is not from Rome. This character hates Rome. It's going to be completely different. But as the movie goes on, it is very much continuing the story from the first film. There's a little twist in the movie that I was able to predict before it happened. I realized it once the character picks the dust up off the ground. I was like, oh, I know who this is. Especially when the mother from the previous movie was introduced, and I was thinking, doesn't she have a kid? Where is... So, yeah, that's what's going on in this movie. But this movie does do some things differently. We get to see an arena fight with monkeys. Kind of cool. I mean, they're CGI, but, what, do you want them to beat up real monkeys? What do we do? They reenact a naval fight in the Colosseum. I don't 100% remember if that was a thing, but I do remember hearing that somewhere, so it might have been a thing. Some people say this movie is historically inaccurate. Yeah, so was the first one. I'm sorry to spoil the magic for you there, but the life and death of Commodus was nothing like how it was shown in that first movie. In fact, Commodus was quite a character in history. It would be funny to get a movie that really accurately tells his tale. One of the main things I see people seem upset about is the emperors in this film. This is the two brother emperors from Roman history. People are like, oh my god, they just act like idiots. They act completely insane. It's stupid. It's so stupid. No emperors would be like this. As someone who knows what a lot of Roman emperors were like, they were subtle. Read up on Caligula, man. Read up on Nero. In fact, read up on those brother emperors. They were mad emperors in history. Rome had a lot of problems with bad emperors. Commodus was one of them. In fact, he was a lot crazier in history than he was shown in the first film. If you read up what he did to animals in the Colosseum, how he kept trying to kill all of everyone close to him because he didn't trust anybody at all. And the way he died is actually kind of funny. But I will say this, the villains in this are not as strong as Commodus was in the first film, and I do think it's partially because we really got to know Commodus in the first film. We got to know his insecurities, we got to know his interests. When spoiler for the first film, when he kills his father in the first film, you don't agree with what he's doing at all, but you see why he's doing it. You understand, like, why he would do that, and you understand why he does what he does afterwards. You don't agree with any of it, it's all garbage things to do, but you know where it came from, at least. With the characters in this movie, we don't really get that. I think one character who we really needed to learn more about was Denzel Washington's character. I love Denzel Washington. He's basically just playing Denzel Washington again here. But it's not a bad thing to play. I really like him in pretty much everything he's in. But I really wish we had gotten to know him more. I wish we had gotten to know more about his history. They tried to give some of it, but I really wish, like, you know, I don't know. I don't know entirely how I would fix it. It's just because he becomes really important during the film, and I just wanted to know more about him. But, yeah. There's not a lot else I can really say without spoilers, so maybe I should just go into the spoiler section already. What would I give this movie? I think this movie was very average, honestly. And that's not a bad thing. I think it's... I would either give this a 5 or a 6 out of 10. 5 means average, 6 means above average. Don't flip out, okay? So it's either average or above, but there were some legitimate problems that I'm going to get into in spoilers. And yeah, it's, I kind of wanted a more original, more quintessential Gladiator story rather than just continuing the first movie. Like, there's so much you can do, but, you know, it is what it is, and I wasn't mad about it or anything. So yeah, it's a 5 or a 6 out of 10. You can feel free to let me know if you agree or disagree or what you think. You know, I've already got people asking me to make a video every historical inaccuracy in the Gladiator movies. Maybe someday. Maybe if I could get, like, Metatron to help me with that, because I'm not as strong in history as I am with mythology. But it could be fun. It could be really fun. So yeah, let's get into spoilers. 3, 2, 1. Okay, the main character is the little boy from the first film. I don't fully remember everyone's names. I think his name is Lucian, or Lucian. Let's just say Lucian for now. Yeah, so he turns out to be him. I figured it out during the film. And yeah, there is, like I said, there is a lot of plot repeating. Movie opens on big battle scene, which is actually the best part of the movie. Loved that part of the movie, because like I said, I like my exaggerated historical epics. I like my big battle scenes. So, movie opens on big Roman battle. Main character loses the love of his life. Vows revenge, gets enslaved, fights in small arena, and gets the attention of a slave master who buys him and then gets him into the Colosseum, where he has a direct view of the person he wants revenge on. And, you know, stuff like that I don't mind so much. Like, it's like, yeah, I mean, if you want to tell a rags to gladiator, if you want to tell a riches to rags to gladiator storyline, some of those beats you kind of have to hit. But you know what I really didn't need? I really didn't need the failed coup attempt to rescue the gladiator that ultimately goes wrong because someone heard something they weren't supposed to hear through the grapevine, which ultimately results in the guy trying to save the gladiator getting killed and the gladiator just continuing being a gladiator again. That is so specific and so much repeat, and you know from the second it's introduced that it's going to fail. We didn't need that again. We know he's gonna fight Pedro Pascal in the arena. It's on the goddamn poster. Like, come on. You don't put that on the poster if you don't want us to know that this is gonna fail. It's a little bit ridiculous. Another thing that I wasn't able to fully buy during the film was Lucian. When he's reintroduced to his mother, he's so mad. I get why he's mad. He lost the love of his life. But, his mother tries to talk to him, and he's going, I'm not your son. That boy is dead. Get out of my cell. And he's just like, I want to kill Pedro Pascal so bad. I'm sorry, I don't remember the character's name. I want to kill Pedro Pascal so bad. I want to kill him so bad. I will just kill him. They get in the arena together. He's so ready to kill him. And then Pedro Pascal just puts his weapon down, puts his hand up and says, "I love your mother, and I loved your father." And that's literally all he says. And then he gets down on his knees. And then Lucian is like, "Oh, okay." And he gets down on his knees and won't kill him. And then when Pedro Pascal gets killed by the archers, Lucian is furious. "Is this how Rome treats its heroes?" And later he's like talking to his mother like, "I love you, mother. I don't want to lose you. I'm so sorry about Pedro's death." And it's like, listen, I wanted, like, I understand that's the direction for the story to go, and I'm totally happy with it going that way, but the turn was way too sudden. Like, I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it at all. I was like, suddenly he doesn't care anymore. Is that really all it takes? I don't know. You needed something else to make it more believable. I don't know how exactly you could have done it. I mean, maybe if he had turned when he found out that the general was planning to take out the emperors because he didn't agree with what he did, but he didn't know that yet when he had the change of heart. So it's like, I don't know exactly. I thought it was very funny when one of the emperors put his pet monkey on the Senate. Very Caligula of you, Emperor. Look it up, what Caligula did with his horse. Also, Denzel Washington's character, like I said, interesting character, would have loved to know more about him, but, like, we don't know enough about him, I think, and then he makes some decisions at the end that just feel like, I'm just gonna do this because I'm the bad guy, and this needs to happen in the script. Like, he's been, like, subtly, cleverly working his way up the ladder, and it's made clear right away that he's been trying to. He's been appointing for Senate and everything. And then I guess when, Lucian comes into his possession and he learns about these plans, he sees it as an opportunity and he grabs it. That's all well and good. But when shit starts going wrong in the Colosseum, he suddenly just pulls out a nail and kills the emperor. It's like, what do you have to gain from that? What's the point of that? I don't really get it. Then he pulls out a bow and just kills the mom, I guess because he wants revenge on her, even though she never did anything to him. Like, why do you want her dead so bad? I don't get that either. And then he rides away, and then Lucian rides after him, and then when they catch up, like, Denzel's like, "All right, you and I are gonna fight now." I'm like, "What? You're not a gladiator? Why would you be the final boss?" And he almost wins, too. It's like, bro, where did all this come from? I feel like I need to know more about this character. Is he a former gladiator? If he is, I completely missed it. Like, what is going on? Why is he doing well against this guy who fucking, like, defeated so many guys before? I don't fully understand. So, yeah, I mean, there's stuff I like and stuff like that, which I think either didn't make sense or could have been done better. So that's why I gave the film like a 5 or a 6 out of 10. There's some very important story beats that I don't think quite work because they didn't quite have what they needed in order to work. Yeah. You know what I find hilarious about this movie is how many people thought Russell Crowe was going to come back. It's like, he's dead. What do you think's going to happen? Oh, something I liked was when Lucian almost dies and his wife dies, he, like, temporarily, it seems like he's on the shores of the Styx. I like that. In the previous film, it looked like whenever Russell Crowe was close to death, he was, like, walking through a field of reeds or something, and I was like, that's Egypt. That's not Greece or Rome. But the shores of the Styx is, and he literally sees, it looks like Charon bringing his wife onto the ship. Though it doesn't make any sense. She didn't have any coins, over her eyes or in her mouth when she died, so Charon should be saying, "Fuck you, I don't care about you." But, yeah, so that was a little detail I liked. Another thing this movie is unfortunately lacking, I think, is the camaraderie of the first film. Like, there's one character I believed, like the doctor in the Colosseum. I thought he had a good bond with Lucian. But I really would have liked to see Lucian bond more with the other gladiators, or at least learn something about the other gladiators, because at the end, all the gladiators join Lucian and they all fight together against the Praetorian Guard, and it's awesome. It's a really cool idea, but unfortunately, it's like, I know nothing about any of you. This would feel so amazing if I just knew something about like 3 of you, or just anything. I feel like I don't know anything about any of you guys. And yeah, God, I really would like a Gladiator film where the fight choreography doesn't, cut so much. Like, the last film cut a lot, so I'm not saying this is worse than the last film because of that. Like, I know a lot of fights have a lot of cuts, but man, how cool would a Gladiator fight be if you could somehow have, like, a whole one-on-one fight in one shot? Just imagine how amazing that would be. Like a John Wick fight but with gladiators, or like an Extraction fight but with gladiators. I was just thinking that during the film as I was seeing the cuts, especially in the fight between him and Pedro Pascal. I was like, this would be so cool if you would just let me see the details of what's going on. I feel like you keep cutting around it a little too much. It's still fun to watch, but I've been kind of spoiled by those action films that really go the extra mile and hold on a shot, like Nobody. If you haven't seen Nobody, you should watch Nobody. And yeah, I mean, it would be so cool. I really wish we would get more Gladiator movies. I'm not saying in this particular franchise. I mean, I want more movies about gladiators. You know what? Can you guys help me out? If you know a really awesome Gladiator movie, can you recommend it? Because this movie just made me want to see a whole bunch more Gladiator movies. I think that would be a ton of fun. I don't know how to end videos.